Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Gentlemen, may I
Hey, welcome to this edition of the X-Fan Show, the A-Train, Arlington Lane. I thought Dirty was going to be out, but there you see him right there, right? There he is. Sit down first. Sit down, sir. Hey, no, real quick, sit down. No, seriously. Sit down. Then I'll let you do your nooch dance.
Oh, hold on. I actually just got out of the way. Hold on. The X-Fan Show wants to send their deepest.
I wanted to sit. That's the purpose. Well, you know what? Go ahead.
No,
you did.
Okay, no, go ahead. My bad. I felt really bad. Go ahead.
Thank you. You should. The X-Fan community wants to give our condolences to the family of Chris Smith, who passed away yesterday at the age of 31. Right now, it has been undisclosed of what the death is, but also with the our hearts go out to the Seattle Sea Dragons, and I saw the Cleveland Browns actually reach out and send their condolences as well. Chris Smith, he was a defensive lineman, for the Seattle Sea Dragons. He passed away yesterday at the age of 31. So we want to definitely send out our thoughts and prayers and condolences to the family of Chris Smith.
And hold on, if you don't remember, Chris Smith was the guy where his fiance got out of the car and was hit by a hit and run and killed, and he just wanted to have his kids see him play football one more time. And it's a very sad, he was listed on the injury report as an illness. So again, no confirmation of what it was, but it is a sad day in the XFL community that we lost such a great young guy. So our thoughts and prayers go out to his family, his children, and to the Seattle Sea Dragons. It's a big loss for the XFL community.
No doubt about it. All right. I don't even know if you want to dance now. You can do your new dance.
But look.
Where are you?
San Diego, baby.
You're still in San Diego? Okay.
San Diego.
But I definitely wanted to throw that out there and make sure we got that in before we got started. And I knew you was going to jump the gun early.
Well, that's why I did it since, we started the show. I figured start it off on something fun and then go into something somber. Now go back into something fun. The chaos continues, baby.
All right. And since you're able to join along for this ride, I thought you were going to be able to. I did bring some friends with me to the show. At least I thought. Yeah, I brought some friends with me.
You have friends besides me?
First up, bring in my guy from the Rough 'Em Up podcast. See, I'm being wrong for this, but that's okay. She's going to understand at the end of the day. The Rough 'Em Up podcast, because what winners do, we come first. We come first at the end of the day. Winners come first. So I'm bringing in my guy, Cullen Watkins. Cullen, what's up, sir?
Don't look like you're bringing him in. He just looks like a dark screen.
It is a dark screen, but he's coming in though. There he is.
Yeah, there we go. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. See, I bring in winners. Ain't that right, Cullen? Ain't that what we doing?
Yeah.
Winners.
Last time I checked, South Division Championships being held right out there. Right out there.
Yes, sir.
You know, we did it. Number one in the South. That's all I got to say.
Hey, we get to talk a little trash today, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can't say the same about y'all team.
You know, when you bring her on, she's going to be violent. I am in. So people are asking where I'm at. I am in Coronado. I'm staying in the Hotel Del Coronado. I did see the ghost. Well, no, I lied. I thought I saw the ghost, but then I smelt the ghost, and then the elevator acted up. So no, I did not see the ghost, but the elevator acted up. Love San Diego. It's been beautiful down here. That's where I'm at. Okay.
All right. Now,
you know she's going to be violent.
Since you're there in San Diego, I'm going to bring in my other friend, and I know she's unhappy because of what happened Sunday. They had your team had the worst loss of the weekend.
Oh, it had to be.
The city that you're representing. Let me say that because that's not your team.
You know why they lost. That is my team. Look, I got my call shirt on. Call. You know why they lost, right? It's because I wasn't at the game. That's why they lost. There you go.
And we're blaming the queen hyena herself, Amanda.
That is not why.
Hello.
They lost because I wasn't there and Amanda stayed for the entire game. We've seen when Amanda leaves the games early, the Battlehawks always win. So she stayed for the whole game,
did she?
Yes.
Already starting in. Like I just got in here.
As you can see, if you can't see right now, the Roughnecks are on one side, the Battlehawk group is on another. Winners.
Battlehawk group on another.
Losers.
My ASS. I ain't right.
Losers. They're the losers right there.
I mean, let's really get to it. I mean, that was the big game of the week was the Battlehawks versus the Sea Dragons. If the Battlehawks won, they got in. Now, mind you, we're here. I'm here in San Diego. We're doing a lot of I was doing a lot of work stuff with the wife, and I was like, oh God, I gotta watch this game. Well, thank God some of the stuff got early, and I got to watch the game. Didn't get to watch all of it, but I watched the majority of the game. Then I went back and rewatched the game. And what's that guy's name, Arlington, that likes to block people if you start bashing them? What is his name? Cullen Crump.
We calling people out today? We calling people out already?
I love calling people out. And rewatch the game on TV because all the fouls tell a different story. All those flags were legit. Every flag that got called was a legit, right? So the St. Louis, look, it's very simple. St. Louis wins, they're in the playoffs, right? Arlington, we talked about it. Amanda, we talked about it. Cullen, I know you and Arlington have talked about it on the Rough 'em Up. It was very simple. I said St. Louis had to win out. They could not lose the game. If they lost the game, they were screwed. And guess what happened? There's a shipwreck right over here. They literally shipwrecked them.
Are you done? Are you done? Oh my God. Are you
done? I love how you hopped on. I love how you hopped on Smoking Guns last night and went to take over their show once again. Phil, Leo, you got to stop letting in these beasts, man. You got to stop letting them in, man. Like for real.
Why don't you let your co-host talk? Why don't you let your co-host from the Rough 'em Up podcast talk instead of taking his?
Oh, that's what you're doing? That's what we're doing right now?
That's exactly what I was about to say.
You serious right now? Oh, okay.
You're going to go there.
Okay, Cullen, the floor is yours, man. What was you thinking about that game between the Battlehawks and the beloved Sea Dragons?
You know, I was really cheering for St. Louis to win that because
All right, cut him off. We can't have him.
I do not want Seattle to win, and I sure as God don't want Ben DiNucci to get a playoff spot. All right, and you know, St. Louis. They just got beat by a better Seattle team that game, though. They did. Ja'Cour Pearson, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The stuff he did that game, my Lord, he looked so good. So I guess they deserve the win. But Seattle looked really good that game. All my hater side of me aside.
Yes, I hate it too. I really do.
I mean, let's ask the person who was there, who put her head down.
Who's actually at the game? Yeah.
Who was actually at the game that caused us to lose because she stayed for the entire game. Amanda, I mean, you're sitting on the Seattle sideline. You sat on the Seattle sideline. So, I mean, how was the atmosphere there?
It was good till the second quarter. You wanted my opinion, didn't you?
That's all you got? I mean, you got to admit. I mean, see, I really wish I could have been there to see the Nooch Gooch himself looking in his standardist, posturist, just ominous of like the statue of David, the way that he played.
You ought to be disappointed in yourself.
Who, me?
Yes.
Well,
the one game that you have to go out of town is the one game that you wanted to see.
Hold on.
I'm not mad at it. Look at me. I'm not mad at it.
Listen. Are you going to really... Cullen, let me ask you a question, Cullen. No. You're a smart guy. Seems like these two aren't very bright right now. But would you much rather go to a football game or see this for an entire week?
Well, if it's my favorite football team, I'm not going to miss it. So, like, I wouldn't miss the Roughnecks for that.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Brian. Amanda, it wasn't your fault. No, I'm reading Brian's comment. Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, we'll take that off because Brian doesn't know what he's talking about. It was your fault. We're gonna blame you.
But I will say I did turn away for every kick that Hageman did, and he made it.
Oh yeah,
that is true. Listen, hold on. Here's the thing I gotta know. You guys tell me. Explain this to me, Amanda. You saw it live, but how does a quarterback knock out a linebacker? How do you knock out a linebacker? How do you let a quarterback knock out a linebacker?
Can I mute myself?
About that.
B-Hawk one says that I talked to Baker an hour and a half. He said a real fan would have been there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all these people are idiots. I don't like any of them.
And that's why he's wearing a Kakash shirt right now. But.
Andrew says I'd rather go to the dentist than be in another idiot. X-Fan Show. X-Fan Show, you go to San Diego and cause the team to lose. You know who you are. LOL. Yes, I did. I caused them to lose. What? I am their lucky charm. I am the Battlehawks' lucky charm.
But now, how you gonna call yourself the lucky charm and you sitting here talking about the Nooch loose?
Listen, just because I like the Nooch, just because I think the Nooch is the best player in the XFL next to Jordan Ta'amu, doesn't mean I don't like my Battlehawks. Look, I got my Battlehawk hat on. You know,
what a farce.
You know what a naysayer is? Do I need to explain it to you?
Yes, please. I'm an idiot.
You're a naysayer.
But no, let's really get into it.
Weathered fan.
That's not me. That was about 20,000 people leaving the stadium early when the Battlehawks started losing.
Yeah, you had a lot of people riled up Sunday after that game was over. See, Cullen. This is why I don't deal with that mess when we do rough them up, right, Cullen? Because we keep it clean and we keep it successful, unlike what this dude does here.
And it's pretty easy when we win too. You know.
Donald's got a point. It's very easy. Says I'm more like Fruity Pebbles than Lucky Charms, but anyway.
All right, now we're gonna go to our game since we did your game.
Well, no, we didn't really get into the game. We'll break them all down.
For what? There's nothing really to talk about. They laid an egg. That's all there is to it.
Listen, here's what it is.
Say this: Seattle Sea Dragons play better. That's all there is to it.
Well, no, and
that's
remember,
all there really is to say.
Hold on, Arlington, agree with me. AJ McCarron is not the MVP of this league, like you've been saying. How you've been gargling him.
He's got to have clarity. He just always has to have clarity.
He was shown. He was exposed. I watched the game, and the dude did nothing. Listen, Marcel Aikman. I was in San Diego, Andrew. Season. Marcel Aikman. AJ stared him down the entire time. They knew exactly where he was passing. How can you do that? You would think you have to show some kind of progression. He really has.
Hey, it's his fault he showed up. That's who I blame. I'm putting the blame on Mike Martin showing up. Yeah, he was at the game.
We should have had Easter twice. We should have had Easter 2 weekends.
Yeah. And like Cullen said, I mean, Jay Peasy is definitely going to get a shot somewhere in the NFL. With the stuff that guy can do for being 5'7", I mean, 160-something pounds soaking wet. When he busted off that,
should too.
I mean, yeah. I mean, when he busted off that 67-yard run to score that touchdown and broke 3 tackles from linebackers, I mean, come on. I mean, look. Now the question is, how many fans in St. Louis are going to root for the Vipers next week?
And it shouldn't even be down to this at all. Like, no. Cullen, other than what you saw with the Battlehawks, like what was another thing that you saw with Seattle that made, that had them with this prolific win against St. Louis?
Well, as much as I hate to say it, Dirty, I know you're going to love me saying this. DiNucci, he really did play a good game. He led that team, and compared to what we saw of Ben DiNucci at the beginning of the season, where he was a walking turnover, he's really, really got his stuff together now. And I was A-Train, I was with you. I thought AJ McCarron, he was an MVP front runner, right? And I still somewhat, I don't know about that yet. Actually, I'm not going to say anything yet. But Seattle just was led by a good Ben DiNucci that game. I was very impressed. Very impressed.
Arlington and Amanda, Ballhawk 1 wants just for you guys to say that Ben balled out. Come on, Amanda, you got to say it.
He did. There's no denying it. There's no denying that.
Come on, Amanda. Come on, Queen Hyena.
It's no deny. You gotta admit to that.
Look at her. Out. He bolted out.
Okay, wait. Colin, I want your thoughts on this. When you saw DiNucci literally punk Silas Kelly, what was you thinking? Did you think what he did was unprofessional, or did you think that's just all part of the game?
It's football, it's.
I mean, a lot of people, Battlehawks fans themselves went in on DiNucci. DiNucci had punked Silas Kelly, like literally ran him over and then stared him down. That's football.
It's football. It's what we're not playing. We're not doing figure skating here. It's a dirty sport sometimes.
Thank you, Colin. Hold on, Arlie.
DiNucci didn't know that he was hurt.
Oh, here we go. Look at this. What he says, I have to admit that Dirty was right. DiNucci was awesome.
Yeah, we got to see that for your butt. Yeah.
Now, here we go. Flame Wingman says, I don't really think AJ has recovered from that concussion or that shoulder injury he was saying. I don't really think he did either. But, I mean, look. Listen. I know that a lot of people were saying that we should have stuck with the running game. Brian Hill, left in the second quarter. And then the guy they had replacing him, number 15, dude was busting off 4 and 5 yard clips. Why didn't they just stick to the run game? Why didn't they just stick with the run game and do little dump passes? Who are
you talking about? The Battlehawks?
Yeah.
What run game? See? What run game?
Look, right here, somebody says again, Dirty's always right. I know I'm always right.
Please. What run game?
I just speak the truth.
No, what happened was number 32 with Seattle in the second quarter. They got that interception. That really hurt.
That really.
Well, I understand him going down the field to take, a deep throw, but like, come on, man. Like, you even though you had all day to throw, still don't make that throw.
In the end zone, for that matter.
Here it is, right here. This will be the last thing we say about this because we're going to move on. Andrew says that the Battlehawks got a case of the drops again. And for a team that was supposedly, hold on, you got to admit, for a team that said that they were going to get catchers and hands, they had a lot of drop passes.
All right, but at this rate, you shut up. I want to hear from Amanda.
I can't even.
Go ahead. Finish your point.
I can't even do. At the end of the day, that was not the team that I know we could have been. There is to it. And Ben DiNucci, like after I watched all the games back, I will say in his favor, he can get that ball and get out of his hands real quick. AJ took too much time. Again, what have I been saying this whole time? What have I been saying? It's taking too long. Get it out. And I'm sorry, but our offensive line wasn't doing it, wasn't cutting it. And that defense, I don't know. Our defense was not on point that game either. I'm sorry, but it wasn't.
Yes, I understand that. Just despite the fact I think they had 3, maybe 4 sacks on DiNucci, it didn't matter. You could have sacked him for 15 yards. He was finding a way to get those 25 yards back. That's what we learned with Ben DiNucci. DiNucci don't give up on plays either. And if y'all talking about, like Cullen was talking about, the shoulder with it, then that sounds like what's similar with Brock Purdy in San Francisco. I think did Cullen freeze or everybody froze? I think I froze. That's
no, you
problem.
Didn't freeze. You still look good, dude. You didn't freeze, bro. I think Cullen
my screen is frozen though. I can't see anything.
No, you're good. You're good.
Arlington, all I have to say is that shout out to St. Louis crowd the whole time, so I didn't have to hear the I didn't have to hear that the whole time. Thanks.
Yeah. So do we see Vinny next week? I don't think so, because you have to hope. So we're going to get into all that later, because Zach asked here, so what happens for the team to make the playoffs now? It's not very complicated now at all. It's very easy. Right now, St. Louis is still number 2 because Seattle hasn't played their last divisional game. They played the Vipers, but St. Louis goes into the game 19 points down already. So we have to score 19 more points than whatever Seattle scores. So if Seattle scores 30, we have to score 49 to make it to the playoffs. Just that simple. So, but besides that, let's go to this game. Arlington, Amanda, we saw another overtime game.
We did.
This week. The DC Defenders who'd they play again? I forgot.
Renegades.
Where did the Renegades show up all of a sudden at? But we just saying it.
Hey, they did never say die, man. They literally said never say die.
Luis Perez. We've said it. Luis Perez. I've said it. And Arlington, you've said it. Luis Perez is probably one of the smarter quarterbacks in the spring football. And he
Perez
really
and
showed
Cohen, though, I have to say, both him and Cohen were on their game this week.
Well, we'll talk about that game.
I know,
and you got to see Kelly Bryant out on the field too.
Yes. And right here, like Flame Wing Man says, the Luis Perez effect. You know what I'm saying?
Amanda is always right.
Okay, Brother Hawk, keep talking. Keep talking crazy. Keep talking crazy. Oh, here we go. John David says, St. Louis fans that leave the game early are losers. AJ acknowledged the fans at the player wall.
Oh Lord, he's taking your stance now.
But we're going to break down the Battle Hawks game more this Wednesday with me and Amanda and Daddy Ed on B-Hawk Live, 8 o'clock Wednesday. It really surprised me on how close that game for Arlington and DC really was. Like, that game I really didn't get to watch because we were doing something. So I was watching the scores, and then I kind of went back and watched the highlights. DC's defense did not look good like it normally does at all.
Bernard, though, is on point.
Well, yeah, that's true. Jordan played well, but their defense did not look like the Guardians' defense that we've seen all year long.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of scares me for DC moving forward, for that $17,000 beer snake they build in DC every game.
Well, either way it goes, both DC and Houston got home games for the playoffs. I think that's what mattered to both teams. I know I hate to even say this for the Houston fans, they haven't shown up, but the excuse I'm going to give is the warm weather there. It's like really sticky, so I understand why Orlando didn't show up for theirs. That's difficult. That's real difficult to be there in that type of weather, 85, 90-degree weather, and sit there and watch a game. As a matter of fact, many of the fans went under and ducked for cover to watch it as, the game was progressing. And it looked like for a while that Vegas was going to, cause an upset. But again, Houston showed resilience and they were able to make it happen.
Right. Now here Brian says that Arlington showed us that San Antonio has a chance. I mean,
Yes.
is there any other really thing we can talk about the DC game other than, like I put up the comment before from Flame Wingman, Greg Williams' play calling was bad in the second half, which it looked like it was. If you're San Antonio and listen, me and Amanda, all three of us, we were at San Antonio, and listen, you guys can say what you want about not packing the Alamo Dome, but their 12 to 15,000 people are just as loud as the 30 plus thousand in St. Louis. But we saw what DC did in St. Louis with 35,000. They went to a silent count and ran it. If San Antonio wants a chance to beat DC, they gotta stop that running game. See, like right here. What Viva Texas said. Constantly breaking 100 decibels with 13,000 fans in San Antonio. It's unbelievable. So, Colin, we're talking about the DC and Arlington game. Were you shocked with the way that Luis Perez has kind of turned that team around and gave the Arlington or DC a run for its money?
Not really, because really throughout his whole career, I'm thinking back to 2020 with the Guardians. Look what he did. He's so used to going to these new teams and sort of turning things around. Now, my opinion on Arlington. I do not like Arlington one bit, but they were really one good.
Can you explain why you don't?
From being good, and I think we're seeing it right now.
Cullen, why is it that you don't like Arlington again? I forgot.
It's as close as we can get to Dallas-Houston rivalry. So
no, I know what he's doing. I know what
he's doing too.
You ain't catching what he's doing.
Oh, what's going on?
He's trying to have you turn against me instead of he talking. He's setting you up for that one.
He's a little damn motive all the time.
Yes, I knew what he was doing.
Right here, look.
But you're right. Arlington shows resilience, but now I know there are many fans. If you see the schedule down below, there are going to be a lot of Seattle fans rooting for Orlando, right? There are going to be a lot of San Antonio fans rooting for Houston. There's going to be a lot of Houston fans rooting for DC, right? And there are going to be a lot of St. Louis fans rooting for Vegas.
I think it's going to be the opposite. I think a lot of San Antonio fans will be rooting for Houston, and Arlington fans will be rooting for DC.
Yeah, I said that. Did I not say that?
Oh, did you? Oh, yeah, no, because you got to figure Arlington and and San Antonio, it's Arlington loses and San Antonio wins, they're in, right?
Yes.
And then if they both lose, then you go to points and all that bull BS and all that stuff.
Wait a minute, who loses?
If both teams lose.
As in the Renegades?
If the Renegades and the Brahmas both lose.
If the Renegades both lose, the Renegades is in the South Division Championship.
That's right.
No other way to say it other than that.
That's right. You forgot.
So that's a given.
Right,
so,
and here's the other thing I'm already tired of. Okay? I'm already tired of people going, oh, the divisional winners and then the top two, then the next two teams.
Yes.
Listen, this is like, they set it up just like the NFL, right? The divisional winners move on. And then they go by the playoff records for those divisions. You can't have a guy in the AFC go play in the NFC if they have a better record than an NFC team. So get over it. Suck it up. They already have it designed how they have it designed. Does it suck that the Battlehawks possibly will not make the playoffs? Yes, it does. But suck it up. But here's what you can say, St. Louis. You can lay claim to that you help support the entire football operations for the entire year of the XFL. So you can hang your hat on that. It's going to suck. We're not going to make the playoffs. But, whatever.
Thank you, Daniel Wallach. Thank you, Daniel Wallach. If you follow him, go to Wallach Legal on Twitter. He definitely put it out there about everything that's going on with the XFL and their attendance. Now, did you guys get the ratings? Did you guys see the ratings?
Hold on, we still got 2 more games to go. We still got 2 more games to go.
Dang it, we got to go those other games. All right.
Well, I mean, you had Orlando against 2.
San Antonio.
Okay, listen. Finally, San Antonio got a home win. Thank you. Finally, San Antonio, you guys, the Brahmas actually got to witness what it's like to have a home win. I know you guys haven't had a lot of them. You've had a lot of road wins. But, you should really be thanking your guys that you guys got a home win. You should have had 2. You should have beat the Battlehawks in game 1, but you didn't. You should have bet on that one. Yes, and Orlando does need to go for the 4th and 15. Listen.
Go, Cullen. What were your thoughts on the game?
To be completely honest, I watched the whole thing, but I don't really remember much of it. All I know is that.
Tell us how you feel about that.
I think I remember Nick Hawley. That's what I was wanting to talk about.
Nick Hawley, yes.
Nick Hawley? Are you kidding me? I loved seeing that. He over 100 receiving yards. I love seeing that. But it was nice to see some life out of San Antonio. I have felt bad for them. I know they're a big football town there, and
Boy, Cullen is so
they're not going to make the playoffs, but it's good to see them get a win.
Yes, indeed. Hey, real talk. Hey, and shout out to again Smoking Guns podcast. They had Jack West Patrick on their show last night. If you didn't catch it, make sure you go back and check it out. Man, he's always been the bright spot for San Antonio. It's hard when you still have quarterbacks that cannot stay on their feet, they can't stay in the game, and they can't throw the ball.
Tell me about it.
But it was Orlando, right?
Well, hold on. I mean, Jared put that up, Arlington, from Jared.
About Jacques Patrick.
And I've said it. I mean, Patrick has been one of my favorite players in this league. One of my favorite players. We've talked about him on the show a lot, on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I mean, 80 rushing yards, 50 receiving yards. Those are good numbers. Mm-hmm. Those are good numbers for a running back. And, when you talk about a guy who, they had a great runner in Belial who went down, and Patrick has just stepped it up. He's literally taking the horns forward thing, right? And he has grabbed the Brahma by the horns and has just taken over on that team. He has been their biggest thing. And I mean, Cullen wants to talk about Nick Hawley. I mean, listen, it's a shame that Bo Callahan and Wade Phillips gave up on Nick Hawley so soon, like they did. And I mean, look what Nick Hawley did. Nick Hawley showed you that an old guy could still ball out at a receiver. So you guys really think
Wade Phillips was game changer too, though.
Yeah, like Amanda said. So I honestly think, and then look, Cullen, like you said, the game wasn't a lot to remember, but very quietly, do you guys realize that Jack Cohen put up 300 yards in that game?
That was by far his best game I've seen him play.
Hands down. And it's just that San Antonio team, man, they still got some life left in them. They went in, they're in with some help from
it's going to take some help, a lot of help, yeah.
That's what I thought too.
And look, here's what I would love to see. I would love to see a San Antonio and Seattle Sea Dragons championship game. Because that would be absolutely.
So you actually agree with Brian.
Yes, I would love to see it.
I think DC and Seattle will be at the championship.
No, that won't happen.
That won't happen. That's going to be in the champions playoffs.
But that would be the best game of the playoff. I seriously think that would be. if DC and Seattle were to get together, that'd be the best game of the playoff.
See, like here, Viva, Texas, and I'll tell you, his sombrero is really starting to become very popular down there for those players. You know, taking his sombrero and putting it on. He's like, you know, Jack Cohn has finally gotten over the hips or the whips.
Yips, as he said.
Yep. And then, you know,
You
Brian
can't read
says
for
that.
crap.
Like, well, I'm reading on a phone, dude. Be quiet. Oh, look at this.
So
Somebody
am I.
agrees with Amanda. Somebody agrees with Amanda for a change. Ann says, OMG, dirty. Oh, I mean, to me, I agreed with Amanda. I know. That's a hard thing that's a hard pill to swallow for me.
I think I threw up in my mouth.
But anyways, you know, Jack Cohn went back to his college days at Notre Dame. Just for one game. Let's see how he does next week.
I mean, it was a big one. It was a big one to do it in. You know what I mean?
It really
Because
was.
it kept their playoff hopes alive, and also Arlington lost to DC. But now, like we stated, they have a bigger task ahead.
Mhm.
They got to play against almighty DC in San Antonio.
Yeah, man. Ooh.
And
That's
then,
gonna be.
it's 4 great games coming up this week. Even though Orlando is playing St. Louis, Orlando's here to play spoiler. St. Louis is trying to fight for their playoff hopes at this point. Of course, DC and San Antonio. That's on ABC. Houston and Arlington. We got one more game that we got to cover real quick before we get to that.
Yeah, no, I saved it for last. We saved it for last.
Thank
Since,
you.
know.
Thank you, because you already know.
Oh,
Say it, Cullen. What are we?
South Division champs, regular season.
Thank you very much.
Where's
Thank
that?
you very much.
Right. In Houston, we're playing it. Woo.
Hey,
Beautiful.
don't be so grim. Don't be so grim. The hate on your faces is just, oh my God. Take a picture. Hey, y'all screenshot this. I need you to see the excitement on one side and the grimness on another. Just
hold on.
know.
Hold on. Stop the clock.
Silvers
Stop
can
the
take
clock.
his cockiness and go somewhere else. He's like the
Stop the clock. Stop the clock.
They related. Silvers and DiNucci must be brothers.
Hold on.
No. Oh, no. They
Hold
far
on.
from it.
Who has said from the get-go who was going to be the MVP of this league?
Here we
Brandon
go.
Silvers. Brandon Silvers.
Here
38 call.
we
Brandon
go.
Silvers is going to be the MVP of this league.
Here
Mr.
we
Bo
go.
Callahan himself has showed why he is the leader in Houston. And if I'm not mistaken, I would think I was the one that said Houston was going to win that division. If I'm not.
I mean, everybody knew that Houston was going to win that division, except Brahma fans, Renegades fans,
What is
and Guardian fans. The real ones knew that it was going to be the Roughnecks division.
Oh man, look Viva Texas hit throwing some shade at his own team. If Houston gets Arlington in the playoffs, it's going to be a cakewalk.
Oh, it's going to be a
the
cinch.
championship.
It's going
You're right, yeah.
Hey,
it's
can
gonna
we
be
do one
easy
thing though?
pickings, baby.
No, can we do
It's
one
going to
thing?
be easy pickings.
Let's do one thing. Let's make sure Stoops knows what he's throwing challenge flags for whenever they ask him. Can we?
I mean, okay, I will say
He
this.
said, "I'm gonna challenge. I'm gonna. What are you gonna challenge? Come on with it. Like.
Well, I mean, look, let's talk about a lot of the coaches with their challenge flags because
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give the coaches benefit of the doubt because, like we tried to say on this show before, they need to add a second challenge to the mix. One challenge is just not enough.
Why though? Why? I don't understand that because if you got Dean up there and he's already looking stuff over, regardless of the fact, I don't understand why you need another one.
Even Dean makes mistakes, okay? And his
Tell
team,
me
they
about
all
it.
make
Hold on.
mistakes.
Listen,
Yo,
I'm gonna mute everybody.
No, you can't mute me and you sitting here agreeing that they need a second challenge.
I agree they needed a second challenge, but don't say that the great Dean Blandino makes any mistakes because this man has been on point for every single thing that he has done this year.
Wait a minute. Are you serious now?
Yes, Dean
I hope
Blandino.
I may have deleted that video. Dadgummit.
Dean Blandino.
Dang it, I deleted it.
No,
and you know it's what I'm talking about.
Dean Blandino.
You know it's what I'm talking about.
Anything wrong at all. He is
Go back to San
Yeah.
Antonio at Orlando,
I know
and he
Ted said
admitted he got it
No,
wrong.
that was
Hot
listen.
mic.
That was piped in. Somebody piped that in.
This ain't the
On
WWE, idiot.
Yes, I think Vince McMahon.
This ain't the
put that in there.
WWE, you buffoon.
I'm just saying, Dean Blandino has not gotten anything wrong. He is the best replay
Okay,
official out
Somebody
there.
write it down. Write it down. Somebody write it down. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm going to come back to that. When the
Now, I might agree with this. Y'all agree with
come back
this?
to it.
If you get it right, you should get your challenge back.
I thought
I
about
agree,
that
100%.
before.
100%.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, see right here, like Sean says, at least once per half, he's right.
Then you might as well be like the clown at the circus pulling out flags from your damn pocket.
Well, that's definitely been the coaches this year, pulling out flags and not knowing what they
I
count.
think that's
Damn
what.
clowns.
Now you tell me, Cullen. Do you think that's kind of the reason? Like they wanted to see what was in the coaches' minds, during this season.
Yeah, that's the whole point. That's the whole point why they added it, And I think coaches are using it how it was supposed to be added, And I do like the idea of if the coach gets it right, they get the challenge back. I do love that idea. I love that.
And I think they'll change that. I think they'll change that. They really need to.
Yeah, because
Right,
like we said, a lot of this stuff is experimented, right? And so they wanted to see what works and what didn't work, and what makes the game effective, and then how do we minimize the mistakes during the game.
So let's get to the Houston game. Man, the problem with Houston is they just can't win in the North.
Well, they did this time.
They did.
They did this time. They did this time.
About time.
The Vipers.
I mean,
Better
listen,
them than anybody else.
I don't know, man. See, I'm still worried about them making it to the championship game, right? I still don't see anybody beating Houston in that South in the championship. So whoever it is, Arlington or San Antonio, unfortunately, as much as I hate to, it pains me to say it because I love the San Antonio fan base. Still one of the best fan experiences I've had all year long at a game. I just don't see anybody in that South of beating Houston. So Houston's going to go into that championship game. Now, depending on who they play, the Sea Dragons or DC, maybe St. Louis, just maybe. I mean, Houston's going to have to play the perfect game. You know what I mean? They're going to have to play the perfect game. And they show it. They show the greatness of how great they are when they're playing the South, right? It just seems like they lay the goose egg when they play the North. So if we can get the South or Houston team for the rest of this championship, it might be interesting. I mean, the way they're starting to click now for Houston, it's going to be. I just don't see Houston. I see Houston moving on and who they beat, and who are they playing this week?
Sacks of the season too. They've had 29 sacks this whole season. I mean, they have.
Yeah,
the best
I mean that is true. That is true. They have. I mean, Houston plays Arlington. I mean, look, with the way that Perez has been playing, and I got to admit, they've opened up that playbook there in Arlington. Maybe they've taken the play calling away from Chuck Long and Jonathan Hayes. It's going to be interesting to see what Houston does here soon, in my opinion.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I just stumped everybody that I was being nice about another team.
Yeah, I think you did because I wasn't quite expecting that.
Silvers is still throwing his little funky interceptions though, but okay.
Hey man, listen.
In the end zone.
Listen, that'll be repaired. That'll be repaired. Okay. Hey Sandy, hope you're feeling better.
I hope Sandy's feeling better. She's been really under the weather. But I mean, here's what we got to admit. Here's what the four of us have to admit. We had, 240 minutes of quality football this weekend.
240 minutes?
Well, it's a 60-minute game, right?
Dirty math.
Oh, you going by that. Okay.
Dirty
Just
math.
saying.
No, that last game wasn't quality football. Now, for the Battlehawks, it wasn't.
Well, I mean, it was cool. I watched a good game up until the second half.
I literally turned it off in the third quarter.
Yeah, here
So
goes
did I.
Angos. We're not used
So
to
did
being
I.
dirty. We're not used to dirty being nice.
Damn,
Arlington,
dirty and nice just never mixes at all.
Arlington, I turned it off too in the third quarter, and I was there.
Yeah, here, like Brian said right here, that Stoops has put the trust into Perez, and I mean that's a very, very well good thing.
Mhm.
I mean, here Matthew said it right here. I mean, best weekend of spring football ever. I mean, right here, anybody who says that the XFL has not been good football, but this year they're a hater. It was great football. I mean, regardless that the Battlehawks lost, it was still a good, exciting game. You know what I mean? I mean, I love just to see how everything. No, it's actually starting to warm up here in San Diego, so no, it's definitely not cold here. No.
Well, Arlington, you did say on the last show that this week was going to be a headache, and it was a headache. I will say that.
It was chaos. It truly was
Mhm.
chaos. I think even with Seattle beating St. Louis, it caused more chaos, especially in the north.
Mhm.
And with Arlington losing and San Antonio winning, it causes chaos in the south for that second spot. It's all about
All right, now. So look, I got to get to the airport. I said I wasn't staying on for the whole show. I got to get ready to get to the airport. Okay. So here's what I'm going to say. Dirty will be back in town. So be prepared for us to win next week. I will make sure Amanda is somewhere away from the stadium so we can win. And then I'm going to send Amanda to I'm going to send Amanda to Seattle so the Sea Dragons can lose.
Okay.
So
Wait, you're gonna try to get him to maybe a distraction from Mr. Ben DiNucci?
yeah, we'll give Ben DiNucci a distraction.
He'll be
I
fine.
don't think that'll work, but anyways, because the Nooch just plays. The Nooch is Nooch.
DiNucci ain't worried about that.
But yes, but you will see me tomorrow with the gal underneath me right here, the Queen Hyena.
That didn't sound right. That didn't sound right.
Well, okay, here. You want me to look? It ain't gonna sound right if I do it with the gal the gal above me right there. That didn't sound right either. I'm just saying. Either way I do it, it doesn't sound right. But my co-host below me there, the Queen Hyena herself, Amanda, tomorrow night, 8:00 on B-Hawk Live.
Oh my God, I
And
can't
guys,
with the comment.
I will see you guys later. I'm going to get ready to Arlington. You got to kick me out of here because if I do it, I'll end myself. But I will see you guys Wednesday night.
Safe travel, man. That's dirty. And
That's crazy.
Safe travel to him on his way back to St. Louis, man. And yes, you might have needed that distraction 2 days ago. Yeah, might have been. We might have needed you then, Amanda, for the new.
I wouldn't have done nothing. It wouldn't have mattered.
There for the show. But anyway, Houston defeating Vegas. Big shout out to Jalen McClendon. I say this because Rob Woodson, you and I, Cullen, were at the press conference. He had nothing but good things to say about him.
Very good things to say.
And the one thing that he said that, he's a baby and he's really still getting his feet wet. And he can't wait to work.
Though. He's doing good. Even running on his feet, just taking off. I mean,
What do you think when you see Cullen, when you see Jalen McClendon?
Yeah, well, we heard what Ron Woodson said. You just talked about it. But I'm thinking, you talk about next season. If McClendon comes back, watch out. With a whole offseason of work under his belt. Yeah, McClendon coming back to this Vipers team next year. If he does, this league should watch out because
Vipers are coming next year. Next season.
They're looking really good. He's looking really good. I can't even say he needs to work on his arm or work on his legs. He just needs to get smarter, but he's a baby, like Ron Woodson said, So nothing but great things from him. It was fun to watch him in person.
I think Jalen it will be best for him to return and play with the Vipers next season. Because
do you think he will?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Especially if Rod comes to him after the game against Seattle, and he says to him, "You're going to be the starter next season," just to give it as a little early early depiction because we didn't get to see a lot of Brent Hundley. Luis Perez is now with Arlington. So
Who should stay there, mind you. Same with Cullen. Perez should stay with Arlington and
yeah, absolutely.
Ramos next season.
I'm not expecting a lot of the players to be back, but that was the one conversation that we had discussed was, and we've done it on this show before, even when we were the old XFL STL talk show. The one thing that we discussed was, do you think it's best? I know getting to the NFL is the highest point and you want to get there, but there's a great potential that many of these guys won't see the field. I know you should try it because the opportunity is there. But if you have an opportunity to play and people can watch you play and you can get paid and actually have people see you, don't you think it'll be best to stay than to make the jump so quick?
Yes. 100%.
I think so. You want to play or you want to sit?
Mm-hmm.
Like quarterbacks. The QB1s in the XFL will be either QB2s or QB3s in the NFL. They're going to sit there.
Mm-hmm.
And likely, highly likely, they're going to get cut.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that they aren't. They're just highly likely that they're going to get cut. You build stars in the XFL. And then who knows where the money can come in. Hell, honestly, they should get an NIL deal. A name, image, and likeness deal in the XFL where you can get some money added extra and you can stay in the XFL.
Yeah.
You know what? And I do agree with this. There's going to be guys. Parker Romo's going to get a shot at it.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's going to get a shot at it. Luke Barku from the San Antonio Brahmas, he's going to get a shot at it, right? Pearson from Seattle is going to get a shot. You know what I mean? Maybe Marcel Aitman gets a shot at it in St. Louis. There are going to be some guys that's going to get camps. No, nothing wrong with that. I think Jordan will get a look at. I think he'll get a look, but at the same time, if it's about playing, he wants to play.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, you can absorb all of and be patient, the opportunities, being there. But if you want to play, this is a chance where you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And we already looking at, as we get into the final week of the season, we're seeing people that's being built as stars. Abram Smith is going to be a guy that the NFL gets looked at. The NFL looks at.
Jordan is just smooth. I was watching him. There's like no hesitation. I mean, he is smooth. Like, smooth.
They're going to try to set him up with a person similar to Fred Koss, but you have to remember there are already 32 starting quarterbacks in the league right now. Mm-hmm. And you're just going to be the backup holding the clipboard, waiting for your opportunity when you're getting the opportunity now.
I got a question for you. Ready for it?
I'm ready.
Do you think that, say Jordan did not get picked up? This is just a scenario, okay?
Okay.
Say he did not get picked up. Remember what he said about St. Louis and how if he had the opportunity to come back, he would?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he would leave DC to go back if he had the opportunity to?
No. He's not leaving. When I say Fred Koss has been his savior, Bruce Gradkowski could not handle what Jordan Teamo could do with Fred Koss can do with Jordan Teamo. That was meant for Gradkowski's age with AJ McCarron. Fred Koss is making him a smart quarterback. Not saying that Bruce Gradkowski is not doing that with AJ. Right. My point is with just DC, with Teamo and Fred Koss, them working hand in hand together. That's what that is. A pairing like that. Mm-hmm. Bruce Gradkowski works with AJ McCarron. And that's that pairing. I can't see Gradkowski with Teamo. It could be, it could be with anybody. But just seeing what we see this season with what Jordan is able to do with this offense and how much smarter he was in DC than he was in St. Louis. Remember, in St. Louis, he had Chuck Long as his offensive coordinator. and it was more about run, pass instead of, and it was similarly like that in DC, but Fred allowed him to pass more. You get what I'm saying? That's the difference that you're seeing. And that's what's making him a much better player. And he, like I say, he's going to get camps. He's going to get a camp. I don't not see that. I see that. I really see that. But if memory would be, if it would be good for him to stay because he's a star in this league.
Mm-hmm.
You know why he's a star?
Why is that?
Because I am in my fantasy league. I am up for the chance to be first, and I beat Daddy Ed. Where you at, Daddy Ed?
I think one more year. I agree with this right here. Tell me what y'all think. You think another year Jordan would be good?
Yeah.
Or you think he should go ahead and just jump to the NFL?
He did that already.
No, you got to understand the landscape of where a lot of these quarterbacks are today.
I mean, I do think that it benefited him. I will say that. Going.
I will actually say this: Abram Smith will have a roster spot next season in the NFL.
Oh, absolutely.
And might get some clock.
Oh, absolutely.
Clock. Whoever gets them.
Minnesota, where are you at? Help me.
Baltimore, where you at? You know what I'm saying?
Minnesota, where are you at?
You need somebody to back up Dalvin Cook, right?
Cook can go. Give me him.
A lot of things will change as time will progress. I understand everything is not guaranteed. And a lot of people saying Ball Hawk saying Cincy would do good with him. Like a guy that's 240 pounds and able to pound someone. Even Ben DiNucci will get another shot back in the NFL. I don't know.
His mouth. I don't know though. His mouth.
It will change. It humbled him when he was in
Dallas. You can have an arm of steel, but your mouth can also put a wrench.
The XFL is different. That's how I'm looking at it. Yeah, the XFL is different, and of course, the draft is going to play a lot into where XFL players go.
Mm-hmm.
And if they get potential shots at it, because we really getting down to the end of the season, and like I said, week 10 we made it, folks. Like we actually making it to the end of another alternative football season, right? And I just want to see some of these guys come back and do it again. I want to see that this is just not a fluke.
Mm-hmm.
That you could do this once again. That's be a star here and market them.
And like with a guy like Jordan, I would just hate to see him get a NFL shot and just for him to sit third, second string and not play. This is a chance for him to create something, be that face of a new league. And I'm even thinking about my favorite quarterback of all time, PJ Walker, right? Compared to he's the most talented spring football quarterback recently,
yes.
I'd say, by far. And look at him. Sure, he got a few starts with the Panthers and stuff, but imagine if he stayed in the XFL. Sure, he's getting his bag, getting those NFL contracts, but he'd be tearing it up right now, and he'd be the face of the league. So these players, they're going to need to weigh, do you want to get the money or do you want to create something for yourself and for your namesake, really? And I think Jordan, he needs to stay here for another season at least.
No doubt. I agree with that. Definitely. All right. We had some figures in the ratings and stuff. If you go to Showbuzz Daily, they'll have the ratings out for this past weekend's games, and there was some promise. No million. I think what game we had was it ABC, right? There was an ABC game, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And that game,
yes,
that game was going up against No, it didn't. It didn't go up against. Actually, it was an 878,000 for Vegas and Houston. Great job. Mm-hmm. All right, and then we had 670 for the Arlington and DC game.
We had 570,000 Seattle and St. Louis, and Orlando and San Antonio up the rear at 235,000. But that was at Saturday at 7 o'clock. What's going on, my guy Jameer? Thank you for hopping in. Do you guys feel if XFL will expand in 2025?
Possible, I guess.
It's possible. I don't want it to, though, because we got to get establishment with these teams first. There's got to be some time for the cities to get acquainted with their teams.
Especially after coming back from having time, out.
Right. Yeah. This would have been different if it was like 2020 and we're getting to now. Then, yeah, we'll say, hey, let's start doing some expansion. If there was like a good 4 seasons in with the XFL. Hey, it can be, but that's up to the fans.
It is.
That's up to y'all. Even the teams that are not great, you can say that. You say you need a strong 8 teams and not exactly. Mm-hmm. You need 8 teams first, right? 8 teams.
And not watered down.
Yeah, absolutely. That's nothing wrong with that. Mm-mm. I don't need the teams right now. Okay, we'll let, because it's an X-Fan show. It says way more exciting than the USFL, and say USFL is hard to watch. Hey, that's y'all opinion on it.
I would have to agree.
All right, y'all really going in now. Tomorrow, so they don't need a piping crowd. Wow,
man.
Now listen here.
You know what, Scott? San Diego would be a good place for the XFL, but right now it's about maintaining the 8 teams that they have now. Orlando is going to need help. Vegas is going to need a little bit of help. Maybe not so much, but every team is going to need you, the fan, right? So that means, and like I've been saying, this is an experiment, right? Y'all seeing it. Everything's being experimented. I think that now that a year is going to be under the belt, you kind of know what to expect. There might be some slight changes along the way, whether it's in the game or it's in the fan experience. But as long as the game remains the same, nothing changes. And give them a preseason for all I care. Give them some scrimmages. Mm-hmm. I want some clean football when we get to week 1. Yes, yeah. I know everybody agrees with that. You want clean football when you get to week 1. You don't want a sloppy mess. Amanda, you got something on that?
Well, let's not forget, too, that it's also about the fans, too. The fans, I think doing the pre-scrimmages and letting people come out and actually see them do their thing, I mean, they should. People want to get to know the players, and it's like same with interviews. People want to get to know the players underneath the helmet, and, I just think it's a great way to get fans more amped for the season as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
And I understand that. Right now, we can't get local sportscasters to cover the XFL right now because it's not been taken seriously yet. Once we start having some more years up under the belt, there will be, I guarantee you, they're going to put them in there. And you also have to remember that local sportscasters, if they're going to do it, it's only going to be on ABC affiliated stations. Only, and that's with cities that don't have, and that's for cities that have professional football there. They're going to cover the main team first, and then if there's a bit of coverage, then they'll throw that in. So just kind of, as long as it keeps moving in the grain, ABC and ESPN still have their workable deal. FX, there are a lot of, even though FX didn't have the best ratings, but it was their network's best ratings. But we look at ratings like, okay, they need to be in the millions for this stuff to work. And that's not necessarily true. Let's see. When it comes to expansion, it'll be 2 teams, play a couple years, and another 2. We'll see about that. They're in a hub. Oh, if there's another shot at the USFL, I don't know. You gotta tell me. See what happens first. Teams move, operations get to their home cities, or we get the expansion teams. Ooh, that's a good question.
That is a good question. I think home cities, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. Because let's not forget of the investment that the XFL wanted was finding, ownership for these teams. That's going to be a key player here. And we talked about it on the old show, especially for St. Louis, that a guy like David Stewart could get a part of the XFL if he wanted ownership of a football team. You know what I mean? That they remove themselves as a single entity league and then they become operational from that standpoint. David Stewart, if he wants to get into professional sports, he would be a great owner to start in the XFL if they get to that point.
Yeah.
But right now, it's just single entity. Everything is owned by the XFL, and that's what they're going to go by, at least for the next 3 to 5 years. And the reason why St. Louis is covering the soccer team, because that's major. They have listed XFL, which I don't like it. They've listed it as minor. And so because it's a minor team, they're not going to cover it. A lot of times they're not going to cover it. But like I said, some stations will cover it because that's all they have for football. So I
will say this, though. When I was downtown this weekend, there were people at the Battlehawks game trying to sell their Cardinals tickets. I about lost it. That's
cool. That's how it is. Hey, I can't say the same in Houston because even though Houston's bad, people still going to those games regardless because they were, of course, World Series champs. But you have to also remember, now it would be different if, for Houston's standpoint, if they were indoors. If they were playing indoors, I think a lot more people would come because it keeps away from the hot sun and you don't have to duck for cover. You saw it.
Yes.
You saw it. Mark Cuban possibly. I don't know. If you want to get into that realm, that would be great to see it.
That would be great.
Shark Tank, okay.
Oh, yeah. See, Arena League trying to get in St. Louis. Yeah, man. But see, that's the thing. All these leagues are coming in and they all want big coverage, right? And so when you get 6-figure ratings such as these, okay, I get it. Orlando, San Antonio wasn't the best because it was two of the not so great teams. You're going to want to see the best teams play against each other, right? So it also helps when you go to the game. We in overtime because I got to get with this gentleman here, and we got to get some recording done so we can have it ready for you guys on Thursday with the Rough 'Em Up podcast show. Any last thoughts about going in? When we get into week 10, Amanda, before you go. You mom's the word. Mom's the word. Mom's the word. Okay.
I got
anything about the league as a whole.
I think we just need to be blessed and feel blessed that we've had 10 weeks now of XFL football.
I'm sad it's over.
Me too. I know. I'm getting sad now that it's starting to end.
I am. I'm sad it's almost over.
Hey, sadness is not done yet for us, Cullen. We got the playoff game come.
That's right. Let's hope we're not sad. Let's hope we don't end the season.
What you're not going to do right now is what you're not going to do.
I mean, St. Louis still has a chance now, but they won't. If they do get it, they won't have it at home. So
okay, you can find me at church, then I'll be praying in the pew.
Okay, we got some quick questions coming in. Do you think XFL will be played only in XFL cities? No.
I do.
I think the Texas teams are going to get it. Texas Triangle. No, just the Dome. Just the Dome.
Which
climate one? Is climate control. You ain't got to worry about having. If St. Louis gets it, that'll be down the line. But now, San Antonio is going to get the XFL championship game.
I don't see St. Louis ever getting
y'all got to fly. So that means you got to fly in, drive in, whatever to get to San Antonio. It's a perfect setup. You can't go wrong with that.
You're not in the Houston Heat, that's for sure.
Exactly. Or in the Dallas Heat because they'll have some too. Houston fears the San Antonio playoff game. All right, I'm gonna leave that.
All right, Viva, I agree.
I'll leave that as is.
I agree.
Said go Vipers is not over yet. All right. Yeah, it has been a great season. All right, good folks. Thank you so much. Thanks to Dirty for hopping on. Cullen, thank you so much for coming through.
Very welcome. Great to be on here.
Rough 'em Up podcast every Thursday. Make sure you tune in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Amanda from
Thanks for having me
Battlehawk
on, people.
Hawk Live. Make sure you tune in every Wednesday. All right. Hey, Smoking Guns podcast Mondays, right? This is how the X-Fan Legion work. We own every single night of the weekday. Smoking Guns Monday. Shout out to Phil and Leo and RC. Tuesday is the X-Fan Show. Wednesday is B-Hawk Live. Thursday is X-Fan Show and Rough 'em Up. And then Friday, the Horns Forward podcast with Beaver, Texas. And my guy Jason, San Antonio Jason. So that's how the X-Fan Legion is working. We keep going. We're going to make sure that y'all are covered when it comes to the XFL each and every week. All right? So make sure you tune into all of our shows. Join us each and every week. We'll be back again. I'll be back on Thursday. Amanda Wednesday. Cullen Thursday.
Yes, sir.
And we'll catch y'all for another edition of the X-Fan Show. You can only catch it on our YouTube channels. Pro Football Alliance, X-Fan Show. Baby, we out. See y'all.